What's going on, YouTube? Today I bring my first position rankings video for the new draft. Today we're going to be doing our edge players, and yeah, without further ado, let's go straight in. So we are going to be doing just my top 10 guys. Obviously, I've looked at more guys than 10, and there are going to be some players missing from this list. Um, so I'll probably go over the end at some of the other players. But starting off at number 10, we have Shaka Toney from Penn State. And Shaka Toney is a guy that I'm probably a bit more higher on than most people. Although I have seen some people give him more first-round consideration. I don't think he's a first-rounder, but I do really like Shaka Toney. Now, he has not been playing for very long here. He is a super, super raw prospect, and that's why a lot of people are lower on him than I am. And also, as you see there as well, he doesn't have, he's not the most explosive player. He's not the strongest for an edge player, but he does have crazy athleticism. And although his first step isn't always he's not very consistent with his explosive first step, it can be very explosive. He's great in the run game, very speedy. All around, I think he's a very raw prospect, but for the rawness that he has, he's also shown some really good things. So, maybe a guy you take more in the second round, late second round, develop him a bit and stuff. But I do think he can be pretty good in the NFL. So that's why I have him here at 10. Then at 9, we have his partner at Penn State in Jayson Oweh. I still think I'm saying that wrong, but Jayson Oweh, though, I think he's pretty similar to Shaka Toney in a way. However, I do have him over him, and you even see here, they're both of their strengths are their athleticism, but they're both raw. I do prefer Jayson Oweh a bit more just because he is a bit more proven. His size is a bit more favorable. He seems a little bit more versatile when it comes to playing hand in the dirt or standing up at the edge position. He does lack the power that you like to see for kind of the way he plays. However, once again, just the stuff he showed with his athletic ability and such, it's just really, really good and really nice. So again, this is a guy you probably take near the end of the second round. I think with a little bit of development, he'll be an amazing. I see him probably as more of a defensive end. Shaka Toney, I see more of outside linebacker, but this guy, he's a defensive end, and I think he's really solid. So again, with some development, he'll be a pretty good defensive end in the NFL. I do prefer him over Shaka Toney, but Toney does have a much higher ceiling in my opinion. Then at number 8, we have Carlos Basham Jr. from Wake Forest. And Carlos Basham Jr. is an interesting prospect because I really don't think that Boogie gets enough hype that he really deserves. One of the things about him is that he is consistent. Whatever you want to say about him, the one thing you cannot argue is that he consistently puts up pressure, he consistently gets to the quarterback, and he consistently finishes his plays. Now, the problem with Boogie Basham is that he's not as physical as you would like. He just is not the strongest guy. He's not, gonna run by you. He's not special at any one thing. He does have a really nice finesse move, but he's just not special at any one thing, but he's consistent at it all. So this is a guy that I think you'd probably take more mid-early second round. I think overall he's a pretty safe pick for me in the terms of I don't think he's going to be bad in the NFL. However, it is kind of unlikely that he ever becomes an elite pass rusher in the NFL. But that's why I think he's a solid mid-second round pick, is because you know what you're getting. It's a safe pick. And like I said, he's consistent. So I think it's a solid pick. Will never be elite, most likely, but still a good player. Then at number 7, we have Rashad Weaver. And I've been a big fan of Rashad Weaver for a while. I was very vocal about the fact that I liked him over Patrick Jones for a while. And then especially after the Senior Bowl, I definitely have him not only as one of my top edge rushers, but, number 7, obviously, and an early second round grade on him. The dude, his size is so just spot perfect for what you want at this position. He's a big, just a big dude, but he's very powerful with his game. Where he does lack is his athleticism, and part of that comes with his size. There are guys that at his size are able to still make these incredibly athletic plays and stuff. That's not Rashad Weaver. He is very much the power, Not really going to make a play outside unless he's lined up on the outside, which I don't think he will be much. I think he's much more of a defensive interior end or something. Or not or something. I think he's going to play more interior D end is where he should fit. But even with his limitations with his athletic ability, again, the dude still has very favorable size, still an amazing power rusher. I think he's a solid early second round pick. Because I think he'll be pretty good in the NFL. Again, another guy that I don't think necessarily is ever going to be elite per se, but I think, again, what you're getting with him. To me, although he is a bit more, he has a higher chance to be a bust than, say, Boogie Basham, I do think he has a much higher floor, and again, he's just a solid pick that you know what you're getting out of him, so. Then at number 6, we have Gregory Rousseau, and this is maybe the hot take of the video. I'm not a big fan of Gregory Rousseau anymore. Now, don't get me wrong. This dude, as you see, as I listed, does not have a ceiling. If he hits that potential that he has, this dude could be one of the best defensive players in the NFL. The problem is that he is super boomer bust. There's a lot of boomer bust projects in this class. Trey Lance, Eric Stokes, Gregory Rousseau. And I think out of all of them, maybe besides Trey Lance, Gregory Rousseau is the biggest boomer bust guy. He has very favorable size. He is a monster for the position when it comes to, his height and weight. But it's just, he was so inconsistent. In 2019, he put up a very nice stat line. People were going insane over him. He didn't play this year, obviously, but when you're given a whole extra year to go back and look at that tape, he was super inconsistent. He did not finish his plays. He really didn't make much impact in the short passing game or the run game. So yeah, he put up a nice stat line, but that really just came from easy, unblocked, or just easy plays. So again, he has a very, very high ceiling. Some might say a no ceiling. He has super favorable size as well as great athleticism. But he's just so inconsistent and so boomer bust. I feel like he's more of an early second round guy. Maybe a team like the Dolphins or maybe the Falcons or someone want to take a gamble at him, but you're really hoping for him to get that boom. Because to me, I don't think he's like Jadeveon Clowney, where he kind of hits that middle ground. I feel like he truly is boom or bust. Personally, I see him as more of a bust, in that this is, obviously he can still hit that boom. I just don't, it concerns me with how often he just didn't finish the plays. I don't like that. So while there's so much to like about him, he does drop from probably his number 1 status for a lot of people to 6 for me, because there's just a lot of concerns for me. Then at number 5, we have Joseph Ossai. And Joseph Ossai is a guy that could go as high as pick 17. He could also fall as low to the middle second round. It really depends on the team where he's going to end up, landing. See, the thing about Joseph Ossai is that teams are going to really like him because of his flexibility. And when I say that, he played almost the entirety of 2019 standing up, and then played almost the entirety of this year hand in the dirt. And he performed at an extremely high level for both things. So he's proven already he can fit anywhere along the defensive line. 3-4 outside linebacker, 3-4 defensive end, 4-3 defensive end. Not a 4-3 outside linebacker, but basically what I'm saying is, you can fit him wherever you want in your pass rush scheme. But the problem with Joseph Ossai is that he is still a pretty raw prospect overall, not in the terms of Shaka Toney or Jason Owe, but rather just the fact that he just still needs some more time. I do think there is a world where Joseph Ossai is the best pass rusher in this class. There's so many different ways you can use him. If you put him on a defense of course, I don't think he's going to go here, but say the 49ers, I think he would be one of the best players in the NFL because he would just thrive so much in that defense. But, regardless of where he goes, I think he'll be pretty nice. he just lacks some, necessary edge skills at this point. He's not the most athletic guy. He doesn't do a fantastic job in the run. He doesn't constantly get pressure on the quarterback. So it's not necessarily a term of he's inconsistent. It's just rather he's not where he needs to be yet in terms of a legitimate pass rusher. But because of his flexibility and some of the stuff he has shown so far, some teams are going to like him a lot better than other teams. So it does depend on where he goes, but he could be a pretty solid pass rusher in the NFL. Then at number 4, we have Jaelan Phillips. And Jaelan Phillips is a tricky prospect for a lot of people. I think he's a first rounder. He's one of my favorite guys in the class. He again, spot on perfect size. When I put strength as everything, I quite literally mean that. The dude makes dominant plays in the run game. He consistently gets pressure. He finishes his plays. He makes plays in the short passing game. The dude has the all-around package. If not for his health concerns, he would be my number 1 prospect in the class. What are those health concerns? Well, he actually got really close to quitting football. He actually did retire for California about a couple years ago. He retired because he was dealing with a ton of concussions, and obviously those are very serious, and he actually stopped playing football for about a year or two and came back to play his senior year at Miami, and he was dominant, especially in the absence of Gregory Rousseau. He played amazing. It's just, his concussions is a real concern to a lot of teams. Personally, I don't think that's going to hold him back. He looked pretty healthy this year. They can always come back, of course, but I generally I don't think it's going to be a huge concern in the NFL, and I think Jaelan Phillips is going to be a dominant player wherever he goes. Another guy that, kind of does depend on the scheme a bit. I do see him as more of a 3-4, a 3-4 fit in general, outside linebacker or defensive end, although I do see him more as a defensive end. I don't really think he fits 4-3 all that well. So that depends a little bit on it, of course, but regardless of that, I think this dude will be an amazing prospect if his concussions don't come back to bite him in the NFL. And again, like I said, if not for those injuries, he would probably be my number 1 edge in this class. But regardless of that, I think he's going to be pretty nice in the NFL. Probably better than pretty nice because, like I said, his strength, he's dominant at everything. It's only his concussions holding him back, and I don't think they will. So this is a prospect that I really like. First round grade on him. Then at number 3, we have yet another Miami Hurricane here in Quincy Roche. This is probably another hot take, perhaps. I do know some people who do like Quincy Roche as much as I do, but I know I like him a lot more than some other people. I think he's a first round pick. Probably won't go in the first round, but Quincy Roche is an amazing edge prospect, especially after the performance that he gave at the Senior Bowl. I mean, I can't give him any less than a first round grade. One of the things about Quincy Roche is that this dude is incredibly smart when it comes to playing the position. He is incredibly smart at just how to get around the offensive linemen. He is amazing at stopping those the screen passes and the bubble screens. He's amazing at stopping those. It's like he's psychic. He sees them coming. The downside to Quincy Roche is that he's not athletically all there. You can see I listed speed as his weakness here. And in terms, I mean that more as, he doesn't often get to the quarterback. And that's probably why people haven't paid a lot of attention to him, because he doesn't have the sack numbers or the pressure numbers. He doesn't often get to the quarterback, but when he does, he finishes the play. He never doesn't finish the play. So the one concern to him obviously is he going to get to the quarterback in the NFL? But, rather than drafting him for the meaning of getting to the quarterback, I think he's an edge that one team is going to really like and take him kind of high because he just does so much more than just get to the quarterback. Again, he makes great plays in the run game, stops screen passes and short passes so well. He's a really smart dude. He's just a little athletically not there and a bit undersized. So I can definitely see why people don't like him as much, but I really do like him. I think he's going to be pretty dominant in the NFL, and I really think he's going to be good. Number 2 and number 1 were really hard for me to pick because I go back and forth on these guys a lot, but ultimately I did come for number 2 being Azeez Ojulari. Azeez Ojulari, just I don't know why this guy does not get more hype. This guy is so freaking dominant. Like, if you just look at the way he played this season, especially in the postseason, in the bowl game, I mean, the man was just insane. And I say the weakness here is run defense. It's not horrible run defense. It's not the best. But even in the playoffs, he actually played pretty well against the run. Being 6'3" and 240, he uses that to his advantage a lot because he uses a combination of speed and power to his game to where tackles just almost have no chance against this guy a lot of the time. He is... Again, I just don't know why this guy doesn't get more hype. To me, he's a solid first-round pick. A lot of, mock drafts and, rankings like TDN and stuff don't have him in the first round. I've even seen some people who don't think he's a second-round pick. To me, that's insane because he uses his weaknesses to his advantage. His weaknesses really aren't even, quote, weaknesses. And, again, this guy is just so dominant when it comes to getting pressure and getting to the quarterback. And I don't know. I think people should be talking about this guy a lot more. And although he's number 2 in this class, so therefore I think there is someone better than him right now. Personally, I think Azeez Ojulari is the best edge in this class long term. This is the guy that if anyone in this class is going to go to the Hall of Fame someday, it's this guy for me. So although there's a guy above him, this is my guy that I think long-term is the best player in this edge class. But he's not the best edge right now because Kwity Paye was amazing for Michigan this year. Kwity Paye, he just has literally everything you look for. He's not again. I just say again because I listed it there. Anyways, he has incredible athleticism. He is super fast and he makes amazing plays. Not constantly, because then that's where you see the weakness, is his consistency is the one thing to question. But here's the thing with Kwity Paye. He may have his cold patches, but god dang, when he gets hot, he is on fire. I mean, this man he finishes his plays. He's dominant in the run game, dominant in the pass game, generates pressures like no other player on the field, single-handedly really anchored that Michigan defense, if not for like Cameron McGrone and a few other guys. Another really just smart edge defender. If he can just be a bit more consistent in the NFL, this guy will be an all-pro, probably Hall of Fame player in the NFL. That is literally the only question about him, is his consistency. Otherwise, he is just top tier level at every other single aspect of his game. So while I do understand, there's certain guys like that franchise guy that really, he said he doesn't get the hype behind this guy. I understand that in a way because he is inconsistent at times. But god dang, this guy, if he stays consistent, is going to be an amazing player in the NFL. But like I said, I do see Azeez being the best long term, but right now Kwity Paye is definitely the top pass rusher in this class. That was my pass rush rankings, my edge rankings, really, for the 2021 NFL Draft. Let me know what you guys thought down below. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you guys would like to see next, whether it's a position ranking, a team draft, or whatever. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see all you dudes in the next video. Bye-bye.